2nd, 2010 meeting of the Public Safety Committee will now come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Antelli, Mr. Beebe, Mrs. Draw, Mr. Eckel, Chairman Hanna, Mr. Lee, Mr. Lightfoot is excused, Mr. McCann, Mr. Yolovich.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The next item on the agenda is the public forum. Is there anyone signed up for the public forum this evening?
There are no public forum speakers signed up today.
Is there anyone present this evening that would like to address the committee? Seeing none, we will move on to the approval of minutes. You have the January 25th, 2010 minutes before you. They will stand approved unless the clerk is notified of any changes by the end of the day. Next item is new business, Madam Clerk.
Referral 10-59 authorize the contract.
Legislator Draw, seconded by Legislator McCann. Is there any discussion? Legislator Yolovich.
Through you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Burns, could you tell me approximately how many psych evals they do for that $15 grand a year?
Through the chair, Bob Burns, Monroe County Probation Administrator. This $15,000 will cover approximately 25 evaluations. Each evaluation has a different cost. An evaluation for a new candidate for a probation officer is one level, and an evaluation for fitness to carry a firearm or fitness to duty is another, but average of about 25 candidates.
So do we just pay him through you, Mr. Chairman, do we just pay him $15,000 a year and that covers everything, or do we pay him by the job?
Through the chair, the latter. We pay by the job, so $15,000 is just our best estimate for the year.
Thank you, sir.
Any other discussion?
Mr. Chair. Mr. Burns, a question for you. This is the 11th year the county has done this contract with Dr. Subnick for this service, and I know it says that this is the only RFP we've gotten for him. We never get any others, I guess.
Through the chair, this was RFP'd in November, and he was the only applicant that we received qualifications for. In prior years, the expenditures did not exceed $4,000 or $5,000. We've had a large number of retirements of probation officers, and that has increased the number of candidates that we have to do psychological evaluations for. So in prior years, it was under that threshold that the Finance Department requires for an RFQ.
Okay.
Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, motion carries.
Referral 10-60 acceptance.
By Legislator McCann, seconded by Legislator Yolovich. Is there any discussion? Legislator Yolovich.
Through you, Mr. Chairman. According to the resolution, this is a new position, but it's going to be filled by a senior probation officer. So I guess my question is, are you actually going to fill the bottom spot? Will there be a new hire?
Through the chair, this funding will allow us to fill a vacant and currently unfunded senior probation officer position, and with that approval will come the backfill, if you will, the ability to hire the new probation officer from our field of probation officer trainee candidates.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Legislator Lee.
Chair to the administration, the U.S. Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention Act, correct. Under which state must address the overrepresentation of minority youth in the juvenile system?
Through the chair, Mr. Lee, if you could repeat the question, I'd really appreciate it.
Okay, the U.S. Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention Act, correct. Under which state must address the overrepresentation of the minority youth in the juvenile justice system, and if they do this put a format grant fund at risk?
Through the chair, if I understand your question, the federal government, the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, which is part of the Department of Justice, does require New York State and every other state to analyze, research, and plan to reduce disproportionate minority contact numbers. And if states don't, at least do their best to look at those numbers, OJJDP funding to states can be reduced. In this instance, New York State asked several localities to do the calculations and the planning themselves, but on behalf of New York State.
Okay. Second part to the question, the referral mentions certain identified zones. Have they been identified yet? Have those zones been identified yet?
Through the chair, the zones, we talked in our application about the crescent, as we tend to when we discuss high levels of crime in our community. That would be the crescent area of the city of Rochester. In fact, this disproportionate minority contact review will be a countywide review, a review of all arrests and all detentions in the county of Monroe.
Okay. One more question through the chair to the administration. How will the members of the work group referenced in paragraph 2 be chosen?
Through the chair, the contracting agency, which would be the Office of Probation, will appoint the members of the work group, but in reality, we will work very closely with our Department of Human Services. They are planning a similar review of children in residential care, and we will probably work directly with our existing Juvenile Justice Council, which is already comprised of judges, police officers, treatment agencies, advocates, faith community, and so on.
Okay. And also, what is the timeline to establish the plan?
Through the chair, this plan has to be completed by March of 2011.
Okay. And last question, through the chair to the administration, how will the plan be funded?
Through the chair, we don't know what the plan is at this point. We haven't even begun to analyze data. The plan could be to request the state of New York to provide funding to initiate new programs, or it could simply be a plan to change policies and procedures, which would require no new funding.
Okay. Could you keep us informed with the process?
Through the chair, certainly.
Okay. Thank you.
Referral 10-66, authorize a contract.
Chairman, just through you to the administration, this is just similar to all the past agreements, correct?
Through the chair, Mike Wood, Chief of the Court Security Bureau for the Sheriff. That is correct, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Next item on the agenda is old business, other matters. Are there any other matters to come before the committee? Seeing none, we'll move on. There being no further business, the February 22nd, 2010 meeting of the Public Safety Committee stands adjourned. The next meeting of the Public Safety Committee will be held on March 22nd,